my fellow patriots, it is me, little Bradie Whetham, and I am sitting down with our producer, Nick Dolinsky, to give you a lunar update. Yes, Artemis 2 is in its 5th or 6th or 7th day now, and we're going to give you a little update of what's going on. So, Nick, what do you know off the hop? Since we left April 1st, what has happened?
Well, the ship's passed around the moon now. They lost contact with it. Was it for 40 minutes?
Yeah, 40 minutes on the dark side of the moon. Now, that could be a coincidence to the tinfoil hat wearing people. But
I've heard, but it's actually not the dark side of the moon.
What is it?
Oddly enough. It's just the moon, that side of the moon that we don't see.
Okay.
So the moon's tidally locked with Earth, so only one side of it faces Earth at all times. It doesn't spin. So so it does. The other side does get sun, but we just don't see it.
Is that where all the conspiracy theorists think that there's a base?
I guess
on that side.
I'm not privy to this kind of.
Okay. I won't go too far into the rabbit hole, but the things that we know as of today, there's been some smells. Apparently, it's been a very stinky flight. They weren't sure if there was leakage from the septic, if it was some sort of sealant on a door, or maybe they're just, tooting in bags up there all close to each other. But supposedly it's been one of the stinkiest flights ever.
Really? They've got to solve that for the next mission.
Let's hope so. So you want to actually update us a little bit about what's happening after this one, but we'll round this out. So 10 days is the duration. So we're on the 7th, which means in 3 days we'll be having our Canadians and our American astronauts back in the atmosphere and hopefully home safe and sound.
Hopefully.
And I think that the trajectory was to go around the moon and see, not only map out this next few missions, but to see if it's still possible.
Yeah, it's really exciting, and the buzzword for the Artemis missions was ignition, meaning that they finally want to get back into the space race. They finally want to start pushing boundaries, getting boots on ground, setting up bases, things like that. So the ultimate goal for the Artemis missions, and it's really ambitious, it's surprisingly ambitious, is to by 2033 to have a full moon base.
So that's a moon base with like living quarters?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so then have regular, they're be launching Artemis rockets every 6 months.
Oh my goodness. So this is 2, and we're looking at probably by 2033, maybe 33 of these things, if not more.
Yeah, so I think they're up to Artemis 16 in terms of their plans.
Okay.
I think it's that. So the next mission, Artemis 3, is not going to the moon. It's going to stay in Earth's orbit, and they're testing out the lunar lander. And there's currently a bidding war or a competition between Blue Origin and SpaceX on designing that lander.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they want to be the first ones to basically, because I guess that would be the lander that they'd be using all of the time then.
It would be probably.
So that contract is going to be like a long-term, lifelong contract type deal.
It's a big deal.
Okay.
It's a big deal. So I guess the previous idea was that SpaceX had it all, but now they're bringing competition. They're saying, hey, you gotta perform better than Blue Origin. So they both have completely different designs for the lander, and we'll see which one wins. They'll be testing that lander in space for Artemis 3, and then Artemis 4, I think, is when we get boots on the ground. Apparently.
So boots on the ground, like boots on the moon.
Boots on the moon.
We're going to be hopping around again like we were in the 60s and the 70s.
Yeah, not until not since 72.
Yeah, 72.
They've actually landed on the moon, and this is all really exciting to me. I'm big into space and all this kind of stuff, so it's really, really cool. The other really interesting, all the interesting stuff about the actual moon base is pretty intriguing. So. Interesting fact. So, do you know what regolith is? Moon regolith?
No, I have no idea. Explain it to me.
It's essentially the dirt, the powder on the moon,
the dust
surface, the dust.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, regolith is really weird. It has a really. So I wrote this down. It was
the word itself is weird.
Oh yeah, the moon's really weird, and they didn't realize this until they actually landed and actually looked at the stuff. That this isn't just normal dirt. This isn't just the typical sand that you see on Earth. It's composition. So its composition is 40 to 45% oxygen, 20% silicon. That's in oxides. So,
okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
So 10% aluminum, 5 to 15% iron, calcium 8 to 10%, and magnesium 5 to 10%. These are all mostly in oxides.
So it's Because I always thought that the dust that's on the moon is basically what's been floating around space and collecting inside of that atmosphere and kind of just landing.
It's pulverized dust from meteors hitting the surface. So it's that whatever comes off of it. So it's all just the makings of these meteors, which is very different from Earth. Earth has what you call tectonic activity. So everything gets churned and everything's so this is just stuff that's landed on the surface and created this huge pile of regolith. And so what they want to do is with all these materials, first of all, it's 40 to 45% of oxygen. So it's actually possible that we could get the oxygen for these astronauts staying on the moon from
this is insane.
Yeah, from the regolith. Yeah.
So it's actually sustainable. There's enough oxygen inside of that there is a way to kind of take that out there and reuse that for oxygen for breathing.
Yeah, so that it's theoretically they've, as you say, it would need a lot of energy. So the big issue right now is finding that energy source on the moon for this moon base. So it would have to be some kind of nuclear reactor, also solar. But for this amount of energy, they're talking about like being able to melt down lunar regolith. You need a tremendous amount of energy.
This whole thing sounds crazy, and I know that so Jim Lang and Mike Wixon, they did the launch day, and then the lovely Jay Martin, a comedian, sat down with Mike to basically get a kindergarten schooling, I guess that's the direction he wanted to take it, on why we're going to the moon. But that question still holds on. Why are we doing this now? Is this blatant curiosity again, and it's been so long that we've re-sparked the curiosity and we want to go there? Or is there an overall plan and mission as to why this is something that can benefit humanity?
I wish this was just motivated by pure human curiosity, but of course there's a political side to this, and it has to do with China. China has set their sights on the moon, setting up moon base. They already have a lunar rover on the moon. And this is essentially U.S. defending their position of having that title of moon conqueror, I guess. So
why can't this just be global curiosity? Where this is I guess the only thing we share in common, which is like, let's figure out why. Let's figure out more.
Absolutely, and that's my position as well. It's not about this nationalistic.
Who cares?
Whatever. If it takes this in order to
because the Cold War was the same thing. We wanted to beat the Russians, right? So this is why we actually ended up getting up there. So maybe we do need that spark of competition to get to the point where it does spark the curiosity again.
I mean, I'll take it.
However we got there, we're there. And it sounds like we're going to be there forever and ever as of the 2030s.
Yeah. And another interesting part is why, and I thought this myself, why is there a Canadian astronaut on this mission? Not that we don't deserve to be there or that we're not fit or something like that, but how was this allowed? This purely American, this is clearly some kind of nationalistic move. Why is there a Canadian? And there's a reason for it.
Tell me.
It's because of the Canadarm, largely.
Jeremy Hansen's part of the Canadarm.
I don't think he's part of the Canadarm. But essentially what happened is that this development of the Canadarm was extremely helpful for the space program. I mean, it helped repair the Hubble.
Yeah.
It solved a huge problem. And we've been updating the Canadarm and this technology continually. And eventually, part of that deal of developing that Canadarm, we essentially negotiated that there be a Canadian astronaut on the next mission. So that's how we got there.
But I would like to think that it's just that our American friends say, hey, we're not going somewhere cool without our really cool neighbors, right? I mean, the one thing that I do love seeing is every time that they've been doing an interview with this team is you're seeing the American flag and the Canadian flag right beside each other. And that to me just seems beautiful.
I love it.
I love it. Yeah, and I've always been, even on this channel and before this channel started, I've always been a major pusher of that Canada and the U.S. are so more alike than they even realize when it comes to civilians. We look at the world pretty much the same. Yes, there's different adjustments and things like that, but we're North America at the end of the day. We're all the same.
I mean, it's a wonderful sentiment, and I hope this harbors that even more.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you heard, but the U.S. president spoke to the astronauts.
I did hear, but can you fill in our audience on how that conversation went?
I have a sneaking suspicion, Bradie, that these astronauts are not MAGA.
Why is that? Why is that, Nick?
Let's go to the clip.
So proud to be a part of this program?
Well, I have to say I spoke to a very special person, Wayne Gretzky, who I think you know, the great one. And I spoke to your Prime Minister and many other friends I have in Canada. They are so proud of you. And you have a lot of courage. I'm not sure if they'd want to do that. I'm not even sure if the great one would want to do that, to be honest with you. But you have a lot of courage doing what you're doing, a lot of bravery and a lot of genius. But they're very, very proud of you.
Well, after that clip, I may agree with you, Nick. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Mm-hmm. If there's not already enough going on down there that we have to add in some of these other fun things, but yeah, definitely not a mega crew.
No. I did laugh quite a bit watching that, but yeah. What else do I have to cover here? I'm trying to think of what else. I wrote down a bunch of stuff here.
Give me your notes, Nick.
Okay, yeah. The other thing we're going to talk about is 3D printing.
3D printing on the moon, yes. What are we printing? We printing the whole base out?
That's the idea.
I've heard.
So this regolith could be the actual material used.
They're going to use that as the material?
Yeah.
This is the most perfect moon dust ever.
It is. It's amazing. It's incredible. This regolith is wild. So yeah, so the idea is to eventually build permanent structures on the moon using this 3D printing.
By 2050, we're going to have bottles of regolith for sale on Walmart. Just straight from the moon. Get it here, the miracle drug.
I'll buy it.
Okay.
I'll buy it.
Well, we can 3D print stuff, and we can also breathe it in and not die. So
sure.
So what are we looking towards over the next couple of days with the team coming back, and when's the next launch?
Next, so I'm not sure exactly what day they're coming back. I heard it was 10 days.
It would be 10 days, so technically it would be the 11th.
Yeah. But so the next launch, I believe, is 2028.
Okay.
I think that's the next mission. Oh wait, that's boots in the ground. So I think it's within the next year, Artemis 3. So this is happening fast. That's the thing, is that these missions are coming really fast, and it's a lot more ambitious than what we've seen from NASA in decades.
So over the next 365 days, it looks like they're going to be testing out the lunar Artemis 3, and then we're heading towards 2028, where we're going to put some actual feet on the ground again. I can't wait to see these flags planted in the moon.
Yeah.
It's for years I used to sit in my backyard with a telescope and look at little teeny tiny things floating off of the moon. Mm-hmm. And some people are like, oh, those are spaceships. And it's like, no, it's dust. But it is so beautiful to look at that just through a magnifying glass. I can only imagine being on that surface and looking back and seeing the blueberry planet that is Earth, right?
Yeah. It's incredible, absolutely. And apparently when they did pass around the moon, they saw some new features. They named a crater as they were going around. And apparently the naked eye is much better at spotting these features than cameras. That's what I heard in interviews. So yeah, it's pretty incredible. And they saw an Earthrise as they passed through. Maybe we can put up that picture. It's a pretty amazing picture.
It is.
Yeah. And I can't wait. I absolutely can't wait.
Well, as much as we're very, very happy and proud that we're going back to the moon, there is a group of people out there that are very devastated over the past week, and I feel for them, whether I believe in their movement or not. Flat earthers, I'm sorry. You've had a bad week. Hopefully, the next couple of years, you guys find something else to focus your time on, because that theory has completely been squashed with this new group. Nick, thank you very much for giving us a lunar update. We'll get another one out of you by the end of the week when they're coming back here. And if you are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching this anywhere else, please subscribe and download the app at True Patriot Love at any app store, or visit us at tplmedia.ca. I'm little Bradie Whetham. That is Nick Dolinsky. We'll see you soon.
Patriotic means looking out for each other and fixing things together.
True patriotism is being in the country you love, surrounded by people you love, and great weather.
Being a patriot is being a part of your community and caring for it.
It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. Patriotism is the one thing we all share.
It's okay to be critical of government and still be a patriot.
It's gratitude to your country.
Of course I'm a patriot. I'm Canadian. It's my home.
Well, actually, True Patriot Love is the mission.